I'm Sandra.
Just last week, I handed my parents a single piece of paper, and in an instant, it brought my mother to her knees. The shock and the truth etched on her face were unforgettable. It's been 15 years since that fateful day when my life took a turn I never expected. Let me take you back. My family was always a bit off kilter. My sister, Lily, was the apple of my parents' eyes. My father, Mr. Thompson, was a stern and business-minded man. He always had this idea of what a successful family should look like, and in his eyes, Lily was the image of that success. My mother, Mrs. Thompson, was more emotional but equally caught up in favoring Lily. When I was 17, my beloved grandmother, Mrs. Green, was admitted to the hospital. The hospital room smelled of disinfectant and the fading hope in the air. I sat by her bedside every Sunday, just like I had for the past 3 years. She squeezed my hand weakly and whispered, "You're the only one who cares, dear. Remember your worth when others forget."
I didn't understand then.
Lily was too busy planning her 21st birthday bash with a band and a designer dress flown in from Paris. Meanwhile, my 16th birthday consisted of a simple cake and a quiet evening at home. Grandma knew how my parents treated me. She always had. One day, through a faint whisper, she said, "I've saved something for you. Don't let anyone take it away, especially your mother." I thought she was delirious from the medication, but I promised her I'd remember my worth, even though I didn't know what that really meant. A few weeks later, Grandma passed away. I was in my literature class when my phone buzzed with a text from my mother. "Grandma's gone. Come home." The coldness of those words cut deep. When I got home, Lily was on the couch chatting with her friends, and my mother was making calls about the funeral. My father was out of sight. No one comforted me. It was like my pain didn't matter. During the funeral, Lily arrived late, and my mother immediately rushed to soothe her, saying how stressed she was. I stood alone by the casket, saying goodbye to the only person who ever truly saw me. After the service, I overheard my parents whispering in the study. My father said there was a problem with the will. I was filled with curiosity and a bit of fear, but I didn't dare to ask. I was so conditioned to be the good girl, not to question their actions. 2 weeks after the funeral, I volunteered to clean out Grandma's old cottage. No one else wanted to do it. Lily said it was too depressing, and my parents were too busy. As I was packing up her old books, I found a small envelope tucked inside an old copy of Jane Eyre, a book she used to read to me. It had my name written on it in her familiar, shaky handwriting. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a note that said, "Sandra, my dear, I've left you my entire life savings. Lawyer Harris has all the details. Don't trust your mother. She'll try to take this from you." I was in shock. Grandma had always seemed so frugal, but she'd left me her life savings. I confronted my mother about it. She just scoffed and said Grandma was sick and didn't know what she was writing. My father walked in and told me to stop being so selfish and that it was better for the family. I was only 18 then, with no money, no support, and no idea how to fight back. So, I kept quiet, buried my pain, and tried to build a life on my own. I took on 3 part-time jobs, went to community college, and applied for every scholarship I could find. It was tough, but I was determined. 7 years later, when I was 25 and working as a junior analyst at a small firm, I received a letter from Lawyer Harris. He said my parents had intercepted his attempts to contact me, and that Grandma had left me a $200,000 inheritance. They told him I'd agreed to forfeit it for the family, but I was just a 17-year-old at that time, and no one had told me anything. I was furious, but I knew I needed solid proof before I could do anything. I befriended a forensic accountant, Sarah, in grad school. When I told her my story, she was determined to help me. She traced the money trail and found that the $200,000 was deposited into my parents' joint account 2 weeks after Grandma's death and then used as a down payment for Lily's new villa 3 weeks later. Meanwhile, Lily's marriage fell apart and my father made some bad investments. They lost their big house and moved into a small apartment. Then, 6 months ago, my mother called and asked if they could have their 40th anniversary party at my townhouse. I'd worked hard to buy it with my own money. I could hear the desperation in her voice, and I knew this was the moment I'd been waiting for. I agreed, and as the party day came, I had everything ready. My parents, Lily, and all our relatives arrived. My father was looking around my townhouse with envy, and Lily was as self-centered as ever. As the party was in full swing, my father stood up to make a speech about their 40 years of marriage and their current financial troubles. He then hinted that they hoped I'd let them stay with me because family takes care of family. I stood up and calmly said, "Since we're on the topic of family, I have something to share." I walked to the closet and retrieved the large envelope I'd prepared. Inside were the financial statements, the original will, and the bank records. I handed it to my father. His face turned pale as he read the first page, which showed the $200,000 inheritance plus 15 years of compound interest. My mother tried to deny everything, but the evidence was irrefutable. Lily looked shocked and tried to defend our parents, but I wasn't backing down. I pulled out the restraining order and told them they had 30 days to stop all contact with me. My mother collapsed, and chaos ensued. After the party, some relatives supported me, while others were in disbelief. Lily called me later, saying she didn't know about the money. I told her it was time for her to take responsibility for her own life. I knew it might seem harsh, but I'd been silent for 15 years. I'd finally found my voice and my strength. A year has passed since that day. I'm still standing strong in my own life. I've donated a portion of the money to a local orphanage in honor of Grandma. I've built my own circle of friends, and I've learned that family isn't defined by blood. It's about those who support and love you unconditionally. I may have lost my biological family, but I've gained something far more precious, my own self-worth.